Yeah, my name is Anthony Graves. I'm exoneree number 138 here in the state of Texas. I was wrongfully convicted and I spent 18 and a half years in prison. 12 and a half on Texas death row. I had 2 execution dates and I came within just like about 45 days. So I wasn't just in that state of panic because my execution dates were premature. I hadn't even exhausted my appeals before they started trying to execute me. So, which is why my attorneys wasn't in a state of panic at that point, but nevertheless, had the system continued to fail me, it's more than likely on one of those dates they would have executed me. But, I had good attorneys that was vigilant and understood the process and so I got to stay of executions until my innocence was proven. But, yeah, it was a nightmare for 18 and a half years.
Well, yes, you say you weren't in a state of panic. What kind of state were you in? What was it like to be on death row?
Well, I mean, anyone can ask that question, but you can't even, I don't think you're prepared for the answer because it is what I would always tell people, your worst nightmare. Whatever you think your nightmare is, I lived that for 6,640 days. I was in solitary confinement. 16 and a half of the 18 years that they had me incarcerated. I witnessed over 350 to 400 men getting executed around me. Guys that I got to know and love like brothers, guys that I seen that had mental illness issues, guys whose cases didn't deserve to be a death penalty qualified case, guys who were actually innocent. I witnessed all of that through, at the same time facing my own mortality in terms of thought that they could execute me for something that I did not commit, a crime I didn't do. So it was just chaotic. It was nightmarish. I witnessed men hanging themselves, attempting to hang themselves, dropping their appeals because they just wanted to get away from the whole situation. I witnessed men just going crazy, cutting their throats, slitting their wrists, self-mutilating themselves. One man sitting on Texas death row now who snatched his eye out, swallowed it. I mean, the conditions just literally driving men insane. It's totally inhumane, and that's what they're practicing.
How did you cope when you were released?
Well, I mean, I'm the exception, not the rule. I ask people not to look at me because for some reason I've managed to adjust quite well. I mean, I think that's because I never gave up on my freedom. So that allowed me to still be free even while incarcerated, which is all, a mind game with itself, But I am the exception because I'm doing quite well. I mean, it wasn't just easy as 1, 2, 3. I mean, there were steps that I had to take to get to where I'm at now because I dealt with bouts of PTSD, where I just didn't know if I could make it out here because I had been so disconnected from the world. It had changed on me. It's 20 years. And so I come into a totally different world, like just being dropped off on Mars, and I didn't know nothing. I mean, I had no routine. I had no friends to talk to. And, when the whole world was sleeping, I couldn't sleep because I was still dealing with sleep deprivation. And so I'd be up all night, crying, waiting on the world to wake up just so I could feel a part of it again. And at some points, I would ask myself, man, are you really going to make it out here, But those are those are the weaker moments, and I had to fight through those things. So what I did is I started seeking therapy. I went and seen the counselor. Counselor couldn't help me. She cried more than I did because she just couldn't understand the inhumanity of it all. And so then I decided to take it to the stage and share my experience with the world, which is now why I travel the world and speak abroad about our need for criminal justice reform and why the death penalty cannot work. I've created my one-man stage narrative that I crisscross the country with now to educate the masses about our need for reform and why the death penalty shouldn't exist in a civilized society. So I've taken my life back by using the audience around the world as my therapy, and it has helped me tremendously.
Well, Anthony Graves, we appreciate you sharing your experiences with us tonight. Thanks very much indeed.